Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we're going to make a very old technique and we're going to make it a little bit more modern by doing a bit of embossing in between. So I hope you can see on here. Let me just sort of put it so it catches the light. We've got some embossing on there and it's just using up scraps of paper and using something which makes it really easy. We used to do this years ago by gluing over the paper or putting sticky strips and things on. We now have adhesive sheet. So what I've done is I have cut a piece of adhesive sheet exactly the same as my cardstock, and I've just covered it over on one side so that it makes it a little bit quicker and easier. You then need to smooth it out as much as you can, and then we're going to peel it off. Now, with all of these sticky sheets, which we have the sticky sheets in the catalogue, you need to be careful that as you peel it off, you can see that it will start to come away, but sometimes it leaves little bits behind. So you need to sort of try and do it slowly, because the slower you do it, the more that it will leave the sticky part down. You can see on the side pieces that sometimes all of the sticky sheet doesn't come on. So it really is a matter of trying to do it slowly and evenly and rub it down first. Now, can you see on there where it hasn't quite? I hope you can actually see that in there. It's pulling it away, but it's putting it onto the front piece. So if you, as I say, really smooth it down, you can get your bone folder and do it with the bone folder. So let me see if I can just grab my bone folder and smooth it down over right up to the edges with the bone folder. That will help as you peel it off to allow it to stick down. You can see now that it's coming off far easier. There's always a few little bits that don't, and you can sort of poke them down, and sometimes you won't get it all, or all the sheet will stick. It'll come off in sort of little bits, but that's all right because we can work with that. So you then have a sheet which is completely sticky like that. Okay, so we're going to put that down in the middle. We can get rid of that bit, and then we need some little scraps. So the scraps I've taken from the floral art gallery, because I really like that, and I have some bits that are over at the end. I've got different sizes and different colours, and what you need to do is to take your first piece and you need to take halfway up this part here, and you're going to put the edge onto this where it's halfway up, and because I don't mind the other piece being across on the other, I'm just going to put that up to the edge halfway and then just stick it down. Okay, so it'll stick quite nicely onto the sticky sheets. Then we're taking another piece and we're going to just start from whichever end you want. So I'm going to start from this end, and I'm just going to put it on, running it to the same angle. So in fact what I need to do is I need to leave a little bit of space. Hold on, let's see if I can just take this off a little bit. I should if I pull it off carefully. Okay, we need to leave a little bit of a space because we're going to do embossing on this one. So just leave a little bit of space in between, and then you put the next one down and you're going to leave a little bit of space both sides. So a little bit of space at the top. Try and get it as evenly as you can, but it's not absolutely vital if you don't. And then I'm going to take a piece the other side. The nice thing about our papers is obviously they're double-sided, so you can get little pieces both sides. And then to save, whoops, make sure that's not stuck on there. Let's take the one I've done out of the way. To save on your papers, you can then turn it over carefully so you know it's stuck on there. So you've got to hold on to that piece of the sticky side carefully, and we're just going to cut this bit through and then turn round and cut these pieces off, because then your pieces will go further and you can really make one out of literally just a few little end bits that you've got. So I'm just going to take that one off like that onto the end, and then we'll turn it over, and I'm going to leave that little bit here right until the end, but I'm going to take the next piece and I'm going to use a blue piece on this, I think, and I'm going to put that again, allowing a little bit of a gap, and I'm going to put it right the way up across here like that. Okay, and then I'm going to cut it off because this is a long piece and I want to use it again. Okay, so we've got that piece there, and then we're going to put the next pieces in. So I quite like this one, so I'm going to have this one coming up this way, so you line that up with that piece, and I'm going to take that one up to the corner, and then we've got a pink one here. I've got a yellow one. I think I'll put a yellow one in on here. Put that up in there like that, and then where you've got your pieces where you've cut them off, just cut them back down straight, and then I'm going to have this piece which is going to be in here like that with a little bit of a space. Okay, so I've now done that bit. Then I can turn it over again and just trim those pieces off. So it's a very simple, easy thing to do, and it's a great way of using up your little scrappy pieces. So when we get up to the corner, cut it straight all the way down, then turn it and cut it down on that way. Okay, so we then have, let's put it where we were on here. So we've done that bit on here. Then we need to take these pieces and just cut that edge straight again. And we've got this one with the flowery bit. I think I'm going to have it this way. So we're going to have this piece coming up here. So we'll just take that again with a bit of a gap. How big a gap you leave is entirely up to you, because as I say, we're going to be embossing those pieces, so it's quite nice to have different ones. Let's put this one in that way, like that. Trim these pieces off on the other side. Do it up first and then down into the corner that way. And then these little pieces down here, I'm going to have those going in the opposite direction. So again, we've got these little pieces here, and we can have that with the blue. So I'm just going to take that piece off with a bit of a gap. And what other pieces have I got? I've got this one with the bit of pink, so that can come in like that. Leave the gap, and then I've got this little piece here, which I think hopefully, let's cut it across that way so it's flat. If you always start with a flat edge, then you know roughly where you're going. Now, is that going to be, yeah, that's going to be fine. So I can take that across there and just take that out. Okay, we can turn it over and just trim these pieces off like this, straight up that way, turn it round, trim it off that way, and trim it off that way. Okay, so we've now got our pieces here. Now you can see we've got a little piece missing on here and a little piece missing on there, but we can use little tiny pieces. Again, I find the easiest way for me is to always make sure you do it on a flat. So this piece here, we can have this little piece coming in there like that. It's right up in the end, but because it's on the sticky sheet, it will stick quite nicely. So we can trim that one off. And then we've got this other little piece in here, which I think I'm going to do in the opposite side of this one. So let's just trim that up like that. And then this piece can go in like that. So we've just got these little bits at the corner, which are just different colours, but as I say, they work really well. Okay. And then you can just trim up your pieces to make sure that they are, you can see here, there's a few little tiny ends that I need to just trim up into the paper. And let's just trim these little bits up so that they're right up tight. And get that one just up into there. Okay, so now you've got your pattern, which looks quite nice, but it's not wildly exciting. So we're now going to do some embossing. So I always have a piece of scrap here like that. Oh, in fact, no, I've got my pot. So I did this one, the first one in gold, and I'm going to do this one in silver. So I've got a little pot with my embossing powder in and a little takeaway spoon. So I can just take this and very carefully just spoon it up and go along the seams on each one. So if you work your way down where the lines of the seam are, so I'm doing it this way first of all, taking it down the other way like that, and then I can turn it round and do it along those lines, and you're just covering up as much as you can of all those little gaps. Now there might be a couple where there isn't any sticky on there, but to be quite honest, because the pattern's quite busy, it doesn't matter. So then you need to turn it over and give it a good flick. Now you can see on here there's some little pieces that are over. So what you need to do is to just take a little brush, and it doesn't matter what brush you've got, but any little brush. I've got a little brush here, and just brush those little pieces off. Because they're on designer series paper, they will brush off quite nicely because designer series paper is quite smooth. So just take those little pieces off, and it's only where my fingers have been on there that have just given it just a little bit of marking that I don't want. Okay, so then we need to just emboss it. Let's take those pieces out of there. And I'm just going to heat my heat tool off of camera because it does make a bit of a noise. But then we can just emboss it. But you get just a really lovely different effect. You can use the gilding flakes on this. I haven't got any. I haven't got any of the gilding flakes, so I'm just going to do it with the embossing powder because that works quite well. And again, just work up your seams. So take your time, work your way all the way up to the top of the seam, and you'll see it'll start going into the lovely silver. Take it down on there, moving it slowly as you go, I know it makes a little bit of a noise, but I know that you can hear me above it, so just work your way down all the way along the seam, making sure you take it into the edges, and then we'll go up on this seam as well. And down on this one. So as I say, it takes a few moments, but it's a very easy, simple technique to do. And take it right up to the top. There we go. And then you turn it off. You then have a lovely piece in here where you've got all of your silver coming through. I hope you can see that, how nice and sparkly it is. And then if you want to just make sure that it's all very smooth and flat afterwards, and to re-glue your or to make sure that your glue hasn't melted a bit, just go over it with the bone folder and you will see you've got this lovely card. Now I did put this one on to grey because these, or smoky slate, because these are really nice soft pastel-y colours. I'm going to do exactly the same with this. So I would put this onto a piece of smoky slate like that, and then it's down to you how you decorate it. I would do something really simple. I've got a couple of little pieces that I had left over from a project I was doing earlier, and I've just die cut Friend out, put it slightly off centered, and just add a little flower or something like that on it because that tones it in. You could put it in with make it an Easter card, Easter greetings. Again, set it off. You can set it this side or that side, and then just put the little flower in. So I hope you've enjoyed that. A fun project taken from, you know, many years ago. It's an old technique, but sort of brought into more modern times. So thank you so much for watching me. As always, please stay safe, please be well, and please be kind. Bye-bye.